Welcome back, everyone. If you've been here since day one, quick update. I'm focusing this channel completely on learning and mastering Blender. Stuff like workouts and studies will be on a different channel. Now for today's video, I'll show you what I practiced this week and also give you an update on my first horror animation project. Before jumping into my main animation project, I decided to start with a smaller practice scene. The idea was pretty simple. I wanted to create a window where sunlight passes through and casts those soft God rays into an empty room. It's something I've always found visually satisfying, so I thought it would be a good exercise. To get started, I spent some time looking at reference images online. I went through quite a few options and eventually picked one that looked simple enough for my current skill level, but still interesting to recreate. Once I had my reference, I began modeling the window. After that, I created a wall and carefully cut out a section so the window could fit properly. The goal was to make it look natural and also allow the sunlight to pass through realistically into the room. Now, when it came to texturing, things didn't go so well. I'll be honest, I did a pretty poor job there. At that point, I was already getting a bit impatient because I really wanted to move on to my main horror animation project. Because of that, I rushed through the remaining steps. Instead of refining the textures or improving the lighting, I just quickly set things up, rendered the scene, and called it done. The final result wasn't exactly what I had in mind, and it definitely could have been much better. But looking back, it was still a really useful exercise. I got to practice modeling, working with lighting, and understanding how these scenes come together. And even though it wasn't perfect, it helped me build a bit more confidence before moving on to my actual animation project. Now coming to the animation project, I'm planning to keep it fairly simple for now. The entire animation will consist of around 3 to 4 scenes, all taking place inside a house, mainly between a room and a hallway. I didn't want to overcomplicate things for my first project, so I'm keeping the environment limited and manageable. So first, I started with modeling the basic layout, the room and the hallway. Once that was done, I began filling up the space with objects to make it feel more natural and lived in. For most of the assets, I didn't model everything from scratch. A lot of the PSX style models and textures I'm using are from itch.io. You can actually find a lot of free packs there. I also picked a few objects from Sketchfab to add more variety. I'm intentionally keeping everything low poly. Since this is an animation, rendering time is a big concern, and I don't want to spend hours or even days rendering a single scene. After placing most of the objects, I worked on the ones I created myself, things like the TV and the switchboard, and did the texturing for those. Then came the animation part. For the first scene, I wanted to keep the idea simple. I decided to go with a POV-style horror game look, mainly because it's easier for me to work with, and feels like a good starting point for my first animation project. So the scene goes like this. The character is sitting and watching their favorite streamer on TV, and suddenly, someone runs past the hallway. That's it. And yeah, I know what you might be thinking. What's the point of this? It doesn't even make sense. But just wait for the next update. This is just the beginning, and it'll make a lot more sense once I build on this and develop the overall look and feel of the animation.